Evening all, and welcome back to the Kieran Clavin Racing Show. This episode covering the weekend preview for Haydock and Ascot, featuring the Betfair Chase from Haydock, and we have the 1965 Chase and the Ascot Hurdle from Ascot. It's a very decent racing this weekend, full of star quality. It's more quality over quantity, unfortunately. There's a few small fields, but we will digest and go through the racing, and obviously I will touch on the other races on the cards as well as the ITV races, a few that I may fancy in the other races as well. Starting off at Haydock, starting off in the 1:15, the 2 mile 2 handicap hurdle, where Cabral de Martin is favourite, now trained by Dan Skelton, having been with Paul Nicholls last season. Latest had 3 seconds last year at the back end of last season, finishing second notably in the Scottish Champion Hurdle behind Cracking Rhapsody. Has had a wind up since moving to the Skelton yard, and I think he might take quite a bit of beating in this race, to be honest. Currently best price 2-1. Now the Skeltons are going to be out for every penny they can in regards to the championship. And they've been firing in the winners left, right and centres, especially on the big stage. And this horse obviously could now go into the Scouts. Could he now be promoted, obviously with the wind up as well? Could that just nudge him towards the winner's circle after finishing second 3 times last season? The other one to note is a horse that I've already backed this season, and people will know that I like this horse a lot. Is Florida Dreams, who is 11-2 currently in the betting, I think 4th in the market. Was second at Carlisle, a decent handicap there, when I thought he was really going to win, and he was close to winning before getting nabbed on the line by Harlington. He should run his race, but I'm not sure whether he's going to be good enough to beat Cabral de Martin for the Skeltons. We then move on to the 150, and it's the Graduation Chase, and it's unfortunately only the 5 runners, which is very unfortunate, and there's a few in here that are literally out for the run. You know that Iroko is going to be out for the run. Mr. Hope Street I don't think is good enough, but it all revolves around the Jukebox Man, his return to the track. After nearly a year off, obviously won brilliantly at Newbury on Chase debut last season, and was also spectacular at Kempton in the Quarto Star. Unfortunately picked up an injury and has been out since, but is now back. They had the choice whether to go here or to go to the 1965 at Ascot. They've come here, and he's a short price favourite to get back to winning ways straight at first time up. He's currently 4-6, 8-13. I think he should win, although I wouldn't be saying to people to plough in at those prices, especially the fact that he's been off the track for nearly a year. It'd be great to see him back and win this, but is he going to be fully wound up first time up? They have said that the King George is the main target for this part of the season, so I'm assured that they're going to leave something off for him to run in that race. And he might still be good enough to beat this field, even only 80% fit. One to note that I could like that could be doing decent later on in the season, that's Butch for the Ollie Murphy stable. Only had the 2 starts last season, one at Leicester before finishing second at Carlisle. Decent form, he looked a decent prospect after his runs over hurdles. I think he just needs heavy ground. Obviously, they probably earmark that coming to this meeting at Haydock, it's normally really testing heavy ground this time of year. Don't think they're going to get that this year. I think there's going to be good in some form of the description. He could be a nice prospect going forward, especially into the winter months, and we're going to get the heavier ground. And obviously, he's got Sean Bowen in the saddle, who will never give up. But I think the Jukebox Man, even if he is only 80% fit, should take this race. You then move on to the 225, the Stayers Handicap Hurdle over 3 miles, where Mars Sham 2 is favourite at 5-1 for Emma Lavelle after winning the Temps qualifier at Cheltenham. Won it very decisively as well. They have earmarked this horse as potentially a Stayers horse down the line. If he's going to be a Stayers horse, he's going to be wanting to win this and win this well. And at 5-1, it's a very tricky handicap. There's plenty in here that could shake the boat. I know the Skeltons have got Joy de Marchand, And they've also got Ace of Spades in here as well, who are two very well handicapped horses. And obviously the Skeltons will be looking to win every penny they can towards the championship. But those two have got very earmarked chance. I know Joy Machan, many people have noted that he potentially could have been laid out for this race. But the one I like here is one for Fergal O'Brien, and it's Horace's Pearl. Going to be making his handicap debut in this race. Ran 3 times last year. Won at Newbury. Was then 5th when actually sent off favourite in the Grade 1 at Aintree behind Honesty Policy and Regent Stroll. Didn't jump at all well that day, and the jumping was less to be desired, and just didn't enjoy it really, to be honest, and finished 5th or 6th. Very disappointing. A lot of Fergals did fail to fire that week as well. It was then brought back for the big listed race up at Perth, where Willie Mullins won it with Kiss Will, but they finished a decent 3rd that day. Did Horace's Pearl first try over the trip of 3 miles, and I think he could, on handicap debut, he could potentially be well handicapped to go and do well here, and he is definitely an each way play in this race at 15-2. I know Marchand too, they've given him the big rep. They think that he could potentially be their next Paisley Park. Obviously Emma Lavelle trained, who actually won this race a few years back as well before going on to win the Stayers Hurdle. So he could be the bill, but I'm willing to take an each way play on Horace's Pearl. We then move on to the big race of the day, the Betfair Chase, and sadly again only the 5 runners, but there's decent 5 runners. You've got Royal Pagaille in there, last year's winner. Stella Story comes over from Ireland. You've got Haiti Colors, who is very, very progressive last season, obviously winning at Cheltenham and winning the Irish Grand National. But the 2 that I've shortlisted to is Handstands of Ben Paulins, 2nd in the Colin Parker at the start of the season to Resplendent Grey. Now steps back up to 3 miles. I think he'll relish to step back up in trip. A bit more rain might have probably played more to his strengths, but I think he'll still go pretty well here. And he's quite a big price at 6-1. But then I looked at the top of the market, and Grey Dawning just stands out here, really, doesn't he? I think he's officially rated. I think he's clear by about £8 or £9 from the rest of them. 2nd in this race last year after making a bad mistake at the last, and kind of got tired, and Royal Pagaille picked him up late on. That kind of finished his season, but that was on heavy ground. Like I said earlier, this won't be heavy ground today, on Saturday. It's likely to be good, maybe good to soft at worst, depending on how much rain we're going to get in the Haydock area. And I think he's going to be geared up to the 9s to win this race. I really do. He's not going to win a Gold Cup. He's not going to win a King George. So they're going to want to win a big race with him. And I think this is the race. He's obviously won the Graduation Chase 2 years ago. He was 2nd in this race last year. All roads lead that he will win this race this year. And at 6-5, I know it's skinny, but I think he is the one that should and probably will be winning this race. He's got the form in the book. He's got course and distance form. I know it's a decent field. Haiti Colors is decent. Handstands, like I said, will come definitely on for the run and step up and trip. It's Royal Pagaille's backyard, but the ground isn't quick. It's slow enough for him. So yeah, Grey Dawning, I believe, will get the job done. And another one on the board for the Skeltons. Just to touch on one of the other races on the card, the 1208, the first race, the Maiden Hurdle. And there's a few decent horses in here. The Skeltons got Double Measure, who finished 2nd on debut. He should come on leaps and bounds. So second at Chepstow. Should come on leaps and bounds for that run, they say. And they're really excited about this horse. They think he's a real decent type going forward. You've got Masked Man in there for the Twist and Davis yard, who won at the Chepstow meeting, the first Chepstow meeting. Won very, very decisive and very nicely. And obviously stick to the plan as well for Ollie Murphy, who won the Persian War. So this race could be very, very informative and very, very good to start the card at Haydock on Saturday. And then there's another, just the other race I wanted to touch on was the 1240, the handicap chase. I like the look of Sunny Villa for Nicky Richards. Decent form last season, including winning over course and distance, and he may be a selection of mine away from the ITV races. We then go over to Ascot and the 4 races to touch on there. Starting with the 130, the 1965 Chase. We have Il Était Francais at the top of the market, now back with Tom George after they moved all their horses back from Noel George in the summer. Tom George now trains. Aiming for this race, he was down to run in the Holden Gold Cup over 2 miles a couple of weeks ago. Now he comes here over 2.5. I think he will set the race up for Pic D'Orhy. I really think this race revolves around Pic D'Orhy. I know he's getting on now, he's 10. But I just think that Il Est Francais and the way he goes, I think he's just going to set it up for Pic D'Orhy. Pic D'Orhy will just be on his shoulder. Cobden will be there, ready to pounce when he needs to. And I just think that he's going to be the ideal winner. And the fact that you can get around 7-2, he's not in second favourite. Django Bay's second favourite. Got nothing against Django Bay, but I just think he's going to be all geared roads lead to the King George in a few weeks' time. And yeah, I think Pic D'Orhy, this will be, like I said about Grey Dawn earlier, his Gold Cup being the Betfair. This will be the Gold Cup for Pic D'Orhy. He's back in his playground, back at Ascot, where he's won so many times before, including winning this race. He only scrambled home in this race last year because he doesn't go best well fresh, especially now getting on. But the fact he's had the run in the Charlie Hall where he was a good second to Jello that day, I just think he's going to take all the beating, and 7-2 could be massive. If he's that price in the morning, I might get, a bit stuck in at that price. We then move on to the 205, the 3 mile handicap chase. And the one I like in here, his favourite currently, is Rock My Way for the Tizzards. Now, they had a great weekend last weekend at Cheltenham, with plenty of winners there, including the great winner Alexi. And they've got this boy who was down the field in Cheltenham in October. I think that was a bit of a pipe opener. Doesn't particularly go well fresh. Will certainly come on for the run. Well, he was decent form last season. He was second at Doncaster. He was then second at Cheltenham in the National Hunt Chase. And then he ran again. I can't remember where else he ran, but he ran a decent race again there. But that National Hunt Chase form could probably stand up. Like I said, Haiti Galores went on to win the Irish Grand National. Rock My Way wasn't beaten miles by Haiti Galores in second. And I just think he will be the one to pick up the pieces in this race. It could be a decent 3 mile chase, but the way the Tizzard horses are running, I'm going to side with him at 4-1. And then move on to the 240, the Ascot Hurdle over 2.5 miles. Actually, this might be 3. It is 2.5 miles. I do lie. It's 2.5 miles. Where Wadu is favourite here at 11-8. The Martin Pike winner from last year. She comes over from the Gordon Elliott stable. I think she will take the absolute world of being here. Like, she gets £7. If this is a handicap, she'd be having to give weight away to others. But the fact that she gets weight here, she's absolutely thrown in. If she runs anywhere to the level she was last year, which I can't see why she wouldn't, she should be winning this quite well. And the fact that I say that, and there's so much depth in this field, like you've got Potter's Charm in here, second favourite. It's Celtic Dino, whose form from the Welsh Champion Hurdle stands out a mile. The fact that Alexis won twice since. He's 6-1 second favourite, and I think he's the big danger. Neon Lion comes here rather than going to Haydock. There's a lot of decent animals in this race, but Wadu, if they think that she's a mare's hurdle candidate, which she could potentially be close to being favourite for that race if Lossiemouth now goes for the Champion Hurdle. Obviously, she runs in the Morgiana on Saturday rather than going to the Hatton's Grey, so all signs so far lead that she's going to go to Champion Hurdle, which would mean that Wadu would be now posted in as favourite for the mare's hurdle, and I think she'll just take all the beating here. And I think 11-8, she could be going in plenty of people's multiples. But if I was going to have an each way play against her, it would be Celtic Dino at 6-1. And then move on to the 315, the Hurt handicap chase, and I like Martador in here, last year's winner, 13-2. He was 5th in the Holden Gold Cup, but that was just a pipe opener for this season. He loves this course and distance. He just wins constantly over this course and distance. This Venetia Williams horse absolutely loves it. 3 course and distance wins, 2 last year. Like I said, won this race. I just think if he's back to form after his opening run at Exeter, and he's had no qualms from now. Obviously, Venetia's form would kind of worry you a little bit. She's not having many winners at the current. I just think he will take all the beating, and at 13-2, I think he's a decent play in here, especially each way anyway. And then just to touch on the other 3 races on the card, the 12.25 looks a decent novice hurdle. We've got Blue Carpet for the Skeltons. You got who has finished second and then won last time out, so that it's progression for the Skeltons could be okay. Tristan Durrell will take the ride, obviously because Harry's at Haydock. You got Etienne Bianco for the Tizzards, who was 3rd at Cheltenham first time up, and they won this race last year with Western Knight, and that was very impressive that last year. And Big Ticket for the Nigel Twiston-Davis stable and Willie Twiston-Davis, who was 2nd at Aintree first time up. I think he will come on big for his run there, and I think he's the one to beat in this race, but it looks very competitive novice hurdle to start with. The 12.55, the handicap hurdle, I like Star Walking for Harry Fry. No, it's Harry Derham. It's one of the two. In Noel Feely Racing colours. First start after a win dot. I just like he was progressive last year, frustratingly without winning. I backed him a couple of times last year, but he looks a decent sort, and it looks like he's well handicapped to go well here. And in the 3.45, the handicap hurdle, I like Absolute Doyen for Paul Nicholls. I know he's won 2 farcical novice hurdles so far since joining from the Fergal O'Brien stable, but I just think he could be well thrown in off his handicap mark. I know he's got top weight, but I think he might be well thrown in there in the 3.45. So that's Haydock and Ascot covered. Best bets for the weekend would be Horace's Pearl over at Haydock. I think at 15-2, he is the nap of the weekend. I think he's an each way play to nothing on handicap debut. I really do. I think back up to 3 miles for the second time. I know it's a competitive race, but I really think he will go close. And then you could quite easily put up a muggy treble with the Jukebox Man, Grey Dawning, and Woodoo. I'd like to see them 3 will probably win. And the other one, like I've got to mention, sorry I missed him off the top, is probably my next best would be Pick Dory in the 1965 chase. I think he's got a hell of a chance. He's too big a price for me at 7-2. Thanks for listening, guys. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I will be back on Monday. Hopefully this week I will get the midweek outlook video out there for you. And then I will be back next Thursday for the weekend preview, where potentially I could be joined by a special guest. But thanks for listening, guys. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and please like and subscribe to the channel. Happy punting to you all.